evening all, welcome to some more tactics, or is this kicking dust? I forget. Do you know what, they're kind of merging into one nowadays. Regardless, let's have a look at some of the tactics that we're seeing emerge through the use of scouting. Now, it's an interesting thing. I know I've shown a lot of scouting lately, and I think it's because it's actually obviously quite fun. I think that's probably one of the things people forget about scouting in general is it's actually quite good fun. And I think generally it depends what game mode you're playing, but I would say scouting is ultimately the best at skirmish, weirdly enough, and FW, things like that, because single point captures like this, like domination, I think always have that kind of issue of it's very difficult to kind of sneak up on dudes. Yes, you can go in kind of, the periphery of the capture point. You can capture stuff and you can take on dudes, but I think the reality is it's better if you've got multiple hacking points, because then you effectively kind of dominate an area. We've been doing this a lot with, in fact, probably in the next video we'll show you this. We've been doing this a lot with certain skirmishes where what we do is we call in a dropship and then rush the nearest point to the enemy, because that seems to work quite nice. And really all it is it's just like, really, I guess, simple tactic to kind of encourage a fight. Plus, by doing this, you actually probably, pretty much change the odds of you winning the game in your favor significantly, because if you almost run ahead of the point and then set up and say, right, come at us, bro, the enemy's then kind of got to get through you to get beyond you to the rest of the map, and it actually works quite well. This map particularly, I think, is a great example of that. Points E and C, if you know which ones I'm talking about there, have a real bottleneck through them, because you kind of have to go near them to get past them, if that makes sense. And it is definitely it's definitely a tactic to do. Scouting in general, I think, is not an easy thing to do currently as well, because I think a lot of the, again, let me be clear, a lot of the time your primary focus is managing cloaks. So you see here, I'm kind of wasting my time setting up a little triage den. To be honest, we're not doing this as much. We're not seeing this as much because obviously people are running flux grenades that little bit more. Scouting, I think, generally with the grenade changes, rather, it's pushed people to use other types of grenades. Which is probably a good thing. So, certainly fluxes are doing an incredible job at the moment. So we go, first customer here, let's just kill him, blah, and dead. Now, again, it's a funny thing really, because a lot of the time it's surprising that people don't see us. And again, I'm going to use an example here. There's a guy on the other team who's a very good shotgunner. He's doing really good cloaky shotgun stuff, and I didn't see him. So there we go. That's something. I don't think that's him there, but there's a few dudes in that I'm just surprised that I cannot see, and it's pretty interesting. There we go. Blam, got you. But it's interesting because there you go, flux. Talk about what a waste of time that was setting up. And shotgun. So that's it. That's beautiful, isn't it? I didn't really see him. So, this is where I would then have to change to a fit with maybe better precision enhancers or something like that enabled me then to perhaps see that person. So, cloaking isn't about fitting a brick tank, which seems to be what a lot of people are doing now. What you're better off doing is perhaps fitting a scan tank, if that makes any sense. A scan tank, effectively what it is it just means you're very difficult to then scan, so I can't see the chevron, because again the reliance of so many people on that chevron is phenomenal. It really is. There we go. Look, you see, I couldn't see him there. Bang, got you. But that's it. That's pretty much what you have to then look out for, is that that's what you're looking to then spot, and without that chevron it's very difficult. Generally, I think there's going to be a real kind of interesting few weeks ahead, really, to see what on earth the fitting of the month quote is going to be. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with scouts. As I mentioned in the previous video, people are scouting and cloaking less. I think the novelty's worn off a bit now, which is interesting. Oh, now interesting. See my cloak? My cloak doesn't work. I don't know if you can see that. I have to then fit out the different fit, and then on there's a bug with the cloak. Basically, when you start cloaking, it then switches the cloak off again. Post in the comments if you had this bug. I don't know what it is. Is it doing it again? Yep, it's doing it again. So as I cloak, you see I'm just trying to figure out what the earth to do. What you have to do is just leave the suit entirely. Don't go to a different fit of that suit. Leave the suit entirely, and then get into your fit as needed. I think I'm about to be shotgunned again. Oh no, there we go. Got ya. But again, this is the fun part of the game. This is really what I think As I almost died, this is what I think a lot of people are enjoying. It's the challenge of having to find somebody cloaked. It's the challenge of having to play, the game when it's quite a challenge. So we go, look, here's another customer. He's obviously just going to shoot that, so I'm just going to go kill him. Nice. Yeah. I do think that, oh my god, another one. Oh my god, run away, run away. Bam, got me. So this is the thing. I didn't see him coming, and I give full props to that. I think that's the funnest elements of the game, is when you actually have to use your eye skill and see people. I mean, again, the chevron's incredibly generous in this game. It does show you within a huge radius where the enemies are, which is actually quite an annoying thing at times, because obviously it's very difficult to hide. But hopefully people are really understanding the benefits of having precision enhanced, range enhanced, profile damped suits now, because yes, you don't tank as well, but if you can avoid being seen, you have a hell of an advantage on your enemy. Okay, so for example, that heavy probably doesn't see me, but luckily we had a dropship above us, so that helped a lot. But I don't think generally they're seeing us where we are. So this guy, I don't think he saw me. Maybe he did. Who knows? But I think there's something quite cool about the fact that there's more than one way to tank now. I would even say speed tanking is kind of back as well, because I think with some of the scouts and the speed they can move, I generally get the opinion that you could viably speed tank once more. You would need a cloak though. I think currently trying to speed tank with aim assist without cloak on seems to kind of still draw the bullets towards you. Okay, so I think, give it a go with cloaking and you'll see what I mean. And I think, what I mean by speed tanking is you would have just all speed modules and maybe, whatever you need to kind of, keep you going. But you could, in theory, speed tank continually. You could have 3 kin cats on a prototype suit and then a stamina enhancer. That could work quite nicely. So, we'll have a play with that. I think at the moment, though, I'm more kind of interested in just, getting used to the cloak, getting used to, getting this sidearm event done, because it's annoying as hell. And then just figuring out what to do next. Post in the comments, tell me what guns you're going to use once the event is over. I think I've got rail rifles pretty high, so I was going to maybe go back to the Ishikone rail rifle. And obviously the SB for the non-Proto variant. But I think generally, I'm kind of intrigued to see what people are going to run once the sidearm event is gone. Plus scouts, oh my god, I got a shotgun. Scouts generally seem to have a real ability to use shotguns now, so maybe I should try with a shotgun. But I'm not going to use controller. I tried controller for a while. It's just terrible. I'm just no good with it. And I think, again, while the shotgun scouts are doing well, the reality is they're still going, sort of like, 30 kills and 15 deaths. So it's still a 2-to-1 ratio, which isn't great. In all cases, it's not great. So I think, there's better fits out there. And I think as people kind of get a bit bored of dying over and over, because it does bother people. Seriously, it does. I think eventually you'll see the use of scouts, the proliferation of shotguns completely go down as I use my shotgun and kill that dude. I like the idea of the scout shotgun. I do think it's always been a good fit, but I just do still feel that there's something not right with some of the maps. Not all of them. This one's fine, but there's something wrong with some of the maps where you just feel that there's lag. There's something there that's just not giving you 24 frames a second at least to play the game. And I do state very clearly that you can't play an FPS with less than 24 frames a second, because otherwise you're just fighting lag. We did a match in the R&D center yesterday, which was so laggy I was getting about 3 to 4 frames a second, and that's bad. Anyway, here we go. Here's another example of shotgun scout. See, just immediately decloaked and shot him. People have been asking what my thoughts are on that. To be honest, I think it's fine. I don't have an issue if people do that. I don't really want a delay from cloaking to from cloaking to shooting. I think there has to be some natural benefit for being able to cloak. And I think if you said, right, you can't shoot for 3 seconds, no, please don't do that. That would just make the whole tactic kind of unviable. I think if there's going to be anything, just increase its power grid and CPU requirement, because there has to be some trade-off for this huge investment in a suit or a module and then the strength it gives you. And if you make it so it can't shoot for a second or two after you've decloaked, what's the point of the cloak, in my mind? So there we go. Interesting match. Not a high scorer, but certainly a lot of fun. And I think a lot of these games are just becoming regular, good, fun kind of matches. So hopefully you're enjoying them as well. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you next time.